And welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. Just want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations. Always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you've had a great week so far. I am still away in cottage country, so again, I apologize for the sound quality of my videos. I'm here without my usual equipment, so I really appreciate your patience with that. If you're a regular viewer, then you know I always start these videos off with a look at the Russell Index. I use the Russell as a simple proxy for the markets overall. I want to keep these videos short, and my process is simple. So as long as the Russell's moving higher, I'm adding new names to my watch list. When it's moving lower, I'm being extra cautious or looking to get defensive. So I've taken away all my drawings so we can see the big picture look of the Russell as it's shaped up so far for the month. So we are looking at the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we're stepping back to take a look at it on the 5-year monthly time frame. Oh, so important, I think, to look at things in multiple time frames. So far for the month of February, pretty wonky candle. We had that positive, beautiful price action in January that brought us right up to these high levels, but in the last week that selling came in, creating this wick, and then it became extreme selling through the beginning of February, bringing us right down to this level. But in the last week or so, we've had positive price action bringing us right into this area here, which I think is oh so important and really worth keeping an eye on. We only have about 5 trading days left in the month, so it'll be interesting to see how this candle ends up, but I really think it's important to get that reference point overall. I'm going to put my drawings back in. I apologize in advance because it gets a little cluttery, but these lines will become easier to see why we've got them drawn in on the smaller time frame. So as a reminder, we're still looking at the big picture monthly look. This blue line down here is long-term support resistance, ignoring it for now. The orange one we're kind of ignoring for now as well, but it held price in through all of 2017 and was the anchor for this wedge pattern, this big wedge pattern taking shape on the Russell. So this line right here is the most important to me right in this area. I want to see price back up and over this diagonal line of support. It held price in through the beginning of all of 2017 until the back half of the year when price managed to push its way up and over this black diagonal line. But for the first time in the month of February, it bled below. So here we are right here, kind of in this apex area, and I want to see how price behaves in this area. So I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly. I really think it's important to take a look at the market overall, the Russell overall, to get a reference on how the market is behaving before you look at individual charts. So that's why I spend a little bit of time on it. So the orange line down here is that same orange line, same pink line. So this is the one we're sort of paying attention to the most, that came into play when we had that extreme selling, but then it bounced off our pink line, found some strength. But look at where we are right here, right now. We're still sitting right at the top of this black diagonal line, which I haven't touched or moved in, oh gosh, months and months. It's a really important line, at least to me. And then we drew this diagonal line in here several weeks ago saying, look, if the Russell's going to continue this uptrend, it's going to have to break through this diagonal line and move this way. So that's the weekly look. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame with the 6-month daily. So here is where we are right here, right now, up and over the black diagonal line. But price hasn't really shown too much conviction. I want to see, as we talked about on Tuesday, I want to see a candle up and over this black diagonal line that opens and closes and shows me some conviction in this area. The extreme selling that we saw was a little unusual, at least to me, which created a little bit of a red flag in my thinking. So I want to be extra careful, and I want to make sure that this uptrend gets back into place in a way that gives me some confidence that it's got staying power. So that confidence for me is going to come when I see a candle open and close above my black diagonal line in this area. So I'm not putting any new names forward. Normally I do a big run through on a chart I'm interested in, and I'm a value growth girl. The fundamentals underneath my charts really matter to me, but I'm just going to sit tight in this area, not put any new names forward, but I will flag for you an old chart of the day cafe pick that I think might be worth keeping an eye on in this area. Should we get that candle that is the big positive candle that looks like this in the days ahead, so today, tomorrow, and shows us that the Russell does want to continue with the uptrend. We will see. And so that old chart of the day cafe pick that I wanted to flag for you, again, should the markets get that strength, it's all about the markets holding that black diagonal line. When I say the markets, I mean the Russell index. But this one looks really interesting to me. It is Diamondback Energy FANG, ticker symbol FANG. It was our chart of the day cafe featured chart here on November 30th of 2017, Green Circle Day, on a move up and over the blue. It took a little while to find its mojo, but it did have really nice price action from there. And it came in and sold off with everything else, but I would be looking at FANG should the markets find their mojo again. This one looks really interesting to me in this area. So I can identify an area of support in here. I'm going to put a little black diagonal line in here and say, look, if FANG can get through this little wedge pattern and move away higher out of this wedge, it's a very interesting one to take a look at. So I'm checking the scores on it again this morning. You know me, I'm all about value, and FANG has a really, really excellent value score, like one of the value scores that I rarely see in terms of how high it is, which is really good. It's got a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 44%, a current PE of 18.30. It does not pay a dividend, but should that price strength come into the markets, here is one I would be taking a look at. With that, I'll leave you. Next video goes out on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. And again, thank you for your patience with the sound.